We are going off the rails. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show dedicated to Disney and tangents. I am your host, Frank, and joining me in the studio today, we have a bunch of great people, including the one, the only, Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
The one, the only, Jackie Gailey.
Hello there.
And he used to be the one and only.
Are there two of him now?
I was going to say, my mother's cloning process has worked.
And now, yes, Rhino.
I'm going to have a twin. You don't know.
It's true.
I feel like you and I
At this
just
point, I probably would have mentioned it, but
We all have a doppelganger.
I am living the prestige life here.
I just feel like you and I had a conversation that someone else stole the name Rhino, and you've just never been able to get over it. But I don't know. The things we talk about.
I know there are other rhinos out there, and I know there are RYNO. That's the thing, too, is they spell it like that. People write to me all the time, RHINO, and I'm like, that's fine, too, but like...
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, everyone, we have a very fun episode for you this week. So we're going to, Disney just revealed their earnings for a quarter one to be absolutely precise of 2022 with their earnings calls. So, they kind of gave themselves a state of the world, so to say. So why don't we call this like our current state of the world? So we're going to talk about how Disney's doing, what we're seeing in terms of the parks, and just kind of an overall discussion based around everything. And we'll really get into it. But before we get started, I want to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, you can book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money, and you get the help and support of amazing Dreams Unlimited Travel agents. So, for a free, no obligation quote, head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today. Okie dokie. This is going to be an intriguing one because, leading up to the earnings call, it was, it seemed like it was a weird week. The calls to let's all vote against Bob Chapek, and stock is it's tanking, and things are not going well, and Disney is just losing its way. And that didn't happen. Quite the opposite. This was one of the first earnings calls since I've worked for the Diz that I actually didn't actively sit down and listen to. I think I took a nap.
That was good. That was time well spent.
That was a good choice, probably. Yeah.
I usually really enjoy listening to them, but it was something about, I think my sleep schedule was screwed up because I woke up too early, and I was like, I'm going to take a nap.
No.
And
Nap is always nappy.
Naps are fine. They're
the best
perfect.
choice.
So I missed out on a lot of the fun, and it was a lot of fun. And we're going to kind of break it down. And as we break it down, we're going to talk about the in-park experience that we noticed during this time period, and as well as what we're currently seeing right now. And I know it sounds weird to say first quarter of, the fiscal year, but remember Disney's fiscal year starts in October, and it's always bizarre for that, but it's how they work. So that's why we're reporting on quarter one, whereas a lot of companies were currently in quarter one. Denny, do you want to kind of help me with this as we go along? Do you have it in front of you?
I have the recap that Paul Krieger wrote, because I was in a park. I was in Hollywood Studios during the call yesterday. So yes, I will be leaning heavily on Mr. Krieger.
He did a great job.
He
I'm
did.
looking at it, too.
He
Yeah,
absolutely
and we appreciate
did.
that.
Yeah. Do you want to? I'm going to be like a teacher. Denny, can you start with the second paragraph, first word after?
Me, my mo.
Did you go to school at Hogwarts?
Okay. You just want me to read it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. After a disappointing quarter four, 2021, all eyes were on Disney Plus and whether subscriptions would rebound after stalling near the end of the last year. Disney Plus, and this is unbelievable, Disney Plus added 11.8 million subscribers in quarter one, 2022, bringing its total subscriber count to 129.8 million people. Executives expect this number to continue to grow throughout the year as more original content is released on the streaming platform.
And it's kind of funny that the number jumped up so much. I think, I want to say that probably a lot of that had to do with Christmas and, giving the gift of Disney Plus and Encanto, of course. It started to find a voice once it started streaming on. It was Christmas Day, wasn't it, that it debuted? Yeah. So that helped out a lot because otherwise I feel like we kind of talked about in our one episode about Disney Plus. It was while I enjoyed a lot of the offerings that kind of debuted with Disney Plus Day and Home Sweet Home Alone and all of that, I feel like for most of the people at the table, y'all were sleeping on Disney Plus and overall generally disappointed with the current offerings for the most part.
I like it. I do. It's fine. I like it. It's fine. No, that's your line.
Fine.
No, I really like it. I use it as like a repository of all things Marvel. If I'm cooking and I want to bring up a Marvel movie on my phone while I'm, doing stuff in the kitchen, I'll do that. We watch, all the new stuff that comes out. Not all the new stuff. We've got a little bit of a backlog going right now. But I'm okay with the Disney Plus.
No, I know you are.
Okay.
It was more, and I think Jackie is to an extent. It's another low blow to Rhino's ego, saying, "Hey, Rhino, how'd you enjoy Hawkeye?"
I still haven't watched it.
My word.
Hey, Rhino, how you enjoy the Book of Boba Fett?
I have watched one episode. I was busy.
It was
watching
that
the
good.
Spider-Man movies.
Yes,
so leave me alone.
I believe the last time we checked in with you about the Book of Boba Fett, you were still on the first. No, it was the first
episode
5
2
minutes.
now,
It was
yes.
the first 5 minutes you had finished.
I enjoyed what I've
it.
seen.
Yeah. Listen, Disney Plus got you early on, so you're subscribed for a full another year. You don't matter.
I would be, yes, but in the future, I believe that I will become a churn. What's the term called?
Charter.
No, it's
Churn
like
and
churn.
burn?
The churn.
Oh.
And burn. Yeah, whatever they. The thing is where you like sign up and then cancel and sign up and cancel. Because
Like I
for
do with
me,
Hulu.
yeah, I'm like I have digital copies of a lot of the Marvel films because I still buy the like actual physical copies of them. And then I've watched. Once I'm done with like all the Star Wars stuff, I'm kind of like I have all the movies and everything. So I'm like I don't know. I don't really. There'll be stuff for me, I'm sure. Like when the Chip and Dale movie comes out, I want to watch that and stuff. But it's just like, in terms of it being for like the whole year, I don't know. I don't care. There are other streaming services. Like I want to watch Star Trek on CBS All Access or Paramount Plus. And so I'm like, I kind of wish I could pause here and then put that money toward there. And then when I'm done there, come back here and, vice versa. Like this would be one that I think I would alternate, like, and be like, okay, we've got it now. So we're in now. Star Trek's all done. Although now there's like 15 Star Trek shows. So it's going to be on all year. So they're going to get me good. But I'm like, but that's what I want out of that. And if Disney Plus can get there with Star Wars, then I'll feel differently, I guess. I don't just watch it for Star Wars, but it's just, I'll be 100% honest with you. A lot of it comes down to I have really bad internet in my house, so it's like really stressful for me to watch streaming stuff when I'm upstairs. And so, of all the streaming services, I have the most trouble with Disney Plus. It seems to always disconnect and not connect correctly to like my PlayStation. And I have an old Apple TV up there that can't have the app on it, so it's like. It's a number of things where I'm just like, you're the most difficult of all the apps to use. HBO Max being number 2 for me.
It's a shame, too, because Disney Plus is one of the, it's one of the best in terms of letting you download this stuff. So that way you can watch it in a different location.
I did take a flight. I did go to, on my Disneyland trip, I did specifically download stuff out of the Disney Plus app, which I was on my iPad, it worked just fine. So I had it all on there. So
yeah, but you can't watch Book of Boba Fett or Hawkeye on an iPad. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there, and I would refer to you as monsters for watching it on such a small screen. But
it's cinematic quality shows. You got to watch it on that big screen, otherwise it feels like you're doing it dirty.
Yeah, I'm like blown away by the fact that Denny cancels Hulu in between things. Like, first off, what is drawing you to want to watch Hulu when it is on?
No, it's timeless. And I know.
Oh, I do like timeless.
Yes, you do. I remember having that conversation with you. It's timeless. So that is my favorite
like
all-time.
The app as so whole.
The show Timeless that was on NBC
the ever
for 2
show?
seasons and a 2-hour special afterward. I still mourn the loss of that show. So it only lives on Hulu.
It's not on Peacock now?
No, it's because they still, a lot of their shows are still, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is still completely in its entirety on Hulu, and the same with, Superstore is still in its entirety on Hulu.
Yeah, but they're also on Peacock.
Oh, see, I don't know. Well, see, that'll be the change for me with Hulu. But I would say this, Hulu is my go-to in terms of like TV show watching now. It used to be like Netflix, but now it's like anything that I would watch, it seems like they're on both Netflix and Hulu now. But like the Golden Girls, Golden Palace, I just said Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Superstore. I watch these shows over and over and over and over again because they can be like a background show for me that I can just tune in and out of because I've seen it so many times. And that's where I'm like, I don't know that there's anything on Disney Plus for me right now other than like what you already mentioned, the Marvel movies and things like that I already own. Like, so I can use the Movies Anywhere app to access that digitally. So it's like, it's not a hassle. So it's like, I don't think there's anything I just have on in the background on Disney Plus just yet, but that's just me. I mean, I know people probably do it with like DuckTales and stuff like that.
Yeah, Disney Plus I feel like is a lot of active watching, at least for me. Like I still haven't watched Jeff Goldblum season 2.
I haven't either.
It's a lot of stuff on like through the Nat Geo side of it. Not that it's all necessarily interesting to me, but you can't. Those shows are about the visuals. They're not about just like sitting back and listening to it in the background. I've been doing that with like. I do use Simpsons for that. I just let it play in the background.
I will say that. I think The Simpsons is still the value for me as well because for a second, it's because it's logged out on my thing downstairs. But that's another show where I call them dinner shows where I need just a comedy that's a long show where I can put on a single episode for a meal sitting, and we watch that one episode. And I did all of Golden Girls during like last summer from beginning to end, and then so that's why I'm glad Golden Palace is there now because that's what we're working through right now with Don Cheadle and cool.
I believe it's John Cheadle.
Don, now you sound like a Western Massachusetts. No. You gotta go down to the theater.
Don Cheadle. I learned that from Barb and Star. Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Trish is probably a type of girl who loves Don Cheadle. I think The Simpsons is one of their like I think that's still the smart one right there where you're like that's a show I want to work from beginning all the way through and it's going to take some time. So that's you're right. They might
years
have me there with
life.
that. Yeah.
Years. And I'll throw on too because Hulu's technically included in their direct to consumer and stuff and. When you get time, and if you're okay with very inappropriate content, watch Pam and Tommy. It is wild.
I have heard.
It is. The acting in it is incredible. Like it's hard, because you watch it and you see Sebastian Stan as himself, but then it's like I also see you as Tommy Lee, or at least. I've seen Motley Crue in concert once, and I feel like the same persona I saw of Tommy Lee there is what Sebastian Stan is doing. Cool. And like the fact that Lily James has just transformed into Pamela Anderson, it's wild.
Pretty
and then
wild.
Seth Rogen is doing a fantastic job in it as well too. It is, but it is graphic. It is vulgar and not for kids, and that's why I laugh every time people post like, if you have Disney Plus internationally, the Kardashian show that's about to hit our Hulu is on Disney Plus internationally, and internationally Pam and Tommy is on Disney Plus.
Holy cow! What?
It's weird to think that.
Somebody tweeted, they were like, "You owe Hillary Duff an apology right this second," because they were that, and now they just debuted like the Kardashian thing on Disney Plus here, and I was like, "But Hillary Duff couldn't be getting a divorce, and her Lizzie McGuire can't be a 30-year-old woman going through a divorce because her husband cheated." I'm sorry. That's such a double. And Love, Simon can't be on Disney Plus either because I think one of the parents had a drinking problem or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's why it's on there, not because anything to do with who he chooses to love. Not Love, Simon, Love Victor is what I meant. But anyway,
that's what.
Ending with season 3. Not surprised. It's fine.
It's not fine.
Well, that's another show. That's one of the shows. Well, that's on Hulu, so it doesn't matter. It's my separate. I was a victim of I have the commercial-free Hulu, which I do really enjoy. So I just worry. I don't want them to pull back on that Hulu content.
See, and I've had Disney Plus. We signed up for it when it first launched, and you could sign up for 3 years. So we've had it for 3 years. And what I enjoy most about it is when they show some of the behind the scenes stuff at the parks. I do really love that. But I'm really attached to Disney animation. Like I love Soul, and I love Luca, and I loved watching Encanto when it came out, and like it's to me it's just those feel good, but I have lately been liking some of this. I always call it smut TV. Denny's gonna laugh at me because
She's like,
it's fun.
smut TV, like Full
Smut
House.
TV. no, not like Full House. Like I
soon.
watched
That Danny Tana.
Too
Yeah.
soon, Rhino.
No, I watched both seasons of Emily in Paris between 2 weekends. And that's on Netflix. And now I'm having an absolute cow because I loved it, and I want to go back to France with Emily, and I
Let's
want to
go.
Eli loves
do
that
it.
show. Yeah.
Oh man. And that's not one that I could like just have on randomly in the background. Like I have Big Bang Theory on randomly in the background because there's reruns on every night. And so that's what I put on in the background. And that's really not smut TV, but it's hilarious. But yeah, so I love watching that, and I started watching The Bachelor last season because that is like the all-time smut TV to me. So for some reason with what's been going on the last couple of years, I like to watch things that I don't have to think too much about. Like before this COVID started going on, I had a list in one of my steno pads. I'll have to pull out. It was like 2 or 3 of them ago, but I have a list of Marvel movies and what order to watch them in to properly get the story, right? But I can't, like, I don't think I have that kind of concentration right now that I could legitimately sit there and watch these and absorb the stories. And because the thing is I've watched a Marvel movie here and there, and I truly enjoy them. Like I get a kick out of them. I love the music. I love the sense of humor. Like I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, love that movie. So like, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, love that. But I don't get any of the references to other characters because I wasn't a comic book reader, and so anyway, but we're hanging on to Disney Plus, and what we're going to do when it's done with the 3 years that we paid for, I'm not sure. I think we'll probably keep it. Oh, Cruella was another one.
I was watching Cruella
my
recently on Disney
word.
Plus as well, so I was using my thing because I do really like that.
I've
movie
already
a lot.
seen it twice. So my daughter caught me watching it it was like a Sunday afternoon, and she was like, "Oh my God, I wanted to watch that with you." And I said, "Oh, well, I didn't know." And I said, "Well, let me finish this and we'll watch it again tonight." Like I loved it that much. I watched it 2 entire times in one day.
That's great.
Love it so much.
Robbed of acting nominations, I will say, of the
Yes.
Oscars, I believe.
Mm.
They
It
should
got
have
a
been nominated.
costuming
Yeah.
nod, I think.
I'm telling you, the
it
Emmas should have
should.
been nominated. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Absolutely. It's not fine.
You know what though? That being said,
I'm mad about it too.
I know we like started talking, so I'm starting to go through my Oscar list, and I finished Being the Ricardos last night. And
how
while
was it?
the
I haven't
movie
watched it yet.
was
Me neither.
absolute trash, the movie was so bad. Anyone who says that movie was good, I
Filthy liars.
it's it's just Aaron Sorkin is such a great writer. He is not a good director, in my opinion. It's just he needs someone who knows how to work with his words versus letting him do what he wants. But Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman were both wonderful. All of
okay.
the acting was good. It was just the pace, the flow, it was a mess. But of the two, I thought Javier was better than Nicole was. But I also can't look at Nicole seriously because of the AMC
No.
pre-movie commercials.
That's really
Oh, my
where her
word.
nomination should have been
In her silver suit.
for bringing us back to the movies. I love my favorite is the hallway look where she's like, "Which movie am I going in?" And I'm like, "She didn't even pay for a ticket."
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
She's movie hopping right now.
They're all reserved seats in every AMC
Yeah, and she's
theater.
just like-
You just sat down wherever you wanted.
Which one?
It drives. I just the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't think she has ever been in a movie theater before. And then when other people started going back to the movies and started sharing the same sentiment, I was like,
yes.
I am glad that this is a thing that everyone acknowledges, that Nicole Kidman has probably never watched a movie in a theater in her entire life. Just the way she looks at the screen and like,
Also, she's so dressed up for
She
a
is
movie.
very-
Also, she's alone in the movie theater. So she either rented every single movie because she's like, well, I just like to play roulette and pick when I get there. And she just was like, but I'm dressing to the nines for somebody. Like, girl, what? Like, I don't understand. But you know what? I feel like it's starting to slowly become one of those cultural things they're not going to be able to get rid of now because so many people will want to see it that we're going to be stuck watching this for the next like 30 years.
it's like the trivia before the movie starts. It'll always be Nicole.
I'm
Kidman.
Maria Menounos.
Well, I like
Thank you for coming to Movie.
Oh my goodness.
I like Maria, but Nicole is trying to sell a movie theater going experience on people who have already agreed
Gone,
to be
yeah.
there.
My
Like,
favorite
I
about
bought
Maria,
my ticket.
which during the like when everything was reopening, you could tell that Maria was actually probably just in a green screen someone had mailed her in her closet in her house recording Newbie because it was almost like it was flickering in and out behind her. But she'd be like, "I'm happy to be back at the movies," but it's echoing like somebody's got her in a closet. Like, okay, I don't know who's falling for this now, but it's. But yeah,
I haven't seen Maria in years. I haven't been to a movie early enough, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
When do you roll in?
Usually about a minute before it starts, if I'm
Wow.
lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
if
I'm
I see
not
a movie
like-
with him, I have to
chances
send him the
there.
Nicole Kidman text.
No, if
Nikki's coming out. Get here.
there's in the
go.
past like 5 years, there's only one movie that I went to where I got to it late, but it was the last chance I had to see it in a theater, and it was Blade Runner. So
Oh,
that was
okay.
like. Otherwise, I'm always like rolling in right before.
I can't. I
Okay.
gotta watch previews, but also I was doing that for the longest time. And you know what happened? Is they had like re-released A Star Is Born, and when they did the re-release, there were no previews in front of it. So I went in assuming like I showed up like 15 minutes late, and I was like, okay, don't worry. There's like bare minimum. They're gonna show the movie. They just turned the movie on and started it.
Oh,
And
my
so I
word.
walked in, and it was already like it was Bradley Cooper like stumbling around on a stage, and I was like, "What happened?" And so I'm like, so I missed the beginning of the movie, and I had no idea. Like I had to look it up later, and I was like, I can't believe I did this. I'm so embarrassed for myself.
Well, Rhino knows my stance though. It was when we saw Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
I was texting as I'm like rushing there through my car. I have Apple CarPlay, so I can use voice to text. So I just want to make that clear. But I'm like, Rhino, if it starts, just tell me because I'm not.
He said, I'm not
turning
coming
around.
in. And I said, and I'd be like, okay, it's a preview for The Matrix. Okay,
Oh
it's a preview
my
for
gosh,
this.
you
And I
needed a
was like,
play-by-play?
We're at the Spider-Man No Way Home preview. I'm like under a jacket, like texting because I don't even believe in texting while the previews are going on. So I'm like, it's like, and then I'd be like, Nikki's here. Nikki's here. You're gonna make it. You're
Come
gonna
on.
make it.
I did, and I made it. I
Okay,
made it. I
good.
made it.
Goodness.
I made it with one trailer left to like finish heavy breathing.
I
But
thought he wasn't gonna. I thought he wasn't, and they threw a curveball trailer at the very
Yeah.
end. You were
Yeah.
like, it didn't crescendo on a trailer. It was some terrible trailer.
and I had to
my
stop
word.
to use the bathroom too.
I was going to ask
I
if you
had to
stopped to
stop
pee.
Yeah, I did. I did.
That has to be done.
It had to be done. But okay, Denny, can you continue with paragraph 3?
Absolutely.
I think we're off the
all I
rails.
want to say, I want to say is, Hulu is part of Disney. So we talked about. I feel like this
Yes.
led, and movie theaters are part of Disney.
Yeah.
And it's a big, obviously, part because that's what's saving their bacon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shut up, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, audience, shut up. Thank you for the support, but
Yeah.
shut
We
up.
love you, but shut up. Now I sound like my mom for real.
See,
I love
that's
you,
what
but
happens.
shut
I love you, but shut your mouth.
It
Get
happens to
out.
the best of us. We sound like our mothers. The older we get, the more we do.
I think
the way
we've
it
all
goes.
heard that. All right, here we go. On the whole, the Walt Disney Company shattered expectations with $21.82 billion in revenue, beating Wall Street estimates of $18.62 billion. This equals earnings per share (EPS) of $1.06 versus estimates of just 63 cents per share. The Disney Parks, Experiences, and Consumer Products division also saw revenue double year over year from $3.6 million in 2021 to $7.2 million in 2022. This segment also saw its operating income jump to $2.5 billion as compared to a loss of $100 million during 2021 due to closures and low attendance.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened?
What happened there here?
What
All
happened?
right.
I'm not going to say the joke on here.
pretty
It's a joke from
incredible.
Superstore that we love, and I was going to say I put out of context. That's awful.
Yes,
So,
It's in the Black Friday episode.
Yes,
of
yeah.
season 1,
which is
season
one of my
1,
favorite
2?
episodes. Yeah, I
Superstore.
think it's season 1 because it's still pretty early. It's season 1 or season 2, but yeah.
Okay.
Those numbers are really impressive.
It's season 2 because I think
Yeah.
season 1 is a half season, but or is started after that holiday. But it's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. I have thoughts about it, but I don't want to say them till we get to the deeper part of the discussion.
Okay, well, we'll
Okay.
get there next.
Okay.
I just want to congratulate Disney. That's it.
Ew.
Yes, is that it?
I
Is
just want
that
to
it?
congratulate Disney.
That is
Okay.
not it.
Congratulations.
There's more.
I mean,
Denny, read that. You have things to say, Denny? Denny?
yeah. I
Denny?
mean,
Yeah.
we all know
Denny?
why 2021 was as bad as it was for the Disney company, and it's just people, finally going, you know what, I'm going to travel again. I'm going to do the things that I maybe didn't do the year before, but it's amazing that revenue has doubled. Those are huge numbers.
Good for them. They've got something that people want. It makes people happy. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, they're a business, and what they give us is joy. So,
What they sell us. Is
Yeah.
What they're
Sell us.
trying to.
Yeah,
Well,
they try
not
to sell
give.
us joy.
yeah, I don't mean give as in, but like, it's really fun to like. It's fun is not free. Obviously, magic isn't free either. But
Despite the fun and fancy free title.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Fancy
I mean,
free.
it's
Fancy.
It's not.
I heard it. I heard it.
I like it.
Fancy. Yes,
I like it.
It's very fun. But I mean, they are obviously sharing and selling something that Disney fans love, and the numbers, their P&L does not lie. I mean, this is every business. If only every business could have come through this with these kind of numbers. It's phenomenal, really.
Yeah, I will disagree with you, though. I think, if you read on Disboards and, I won't include all of social media as a whole, though, because it is still a small group in the greater. I think there are definitely people that do love the product they are being sold, but I think then there is also a very great group of people who are conditioned and addicted to it, and I am one of those people, so I will
We
fully
partake in the system.
Yeah.
I always
I-
say we can complain about it, but we still acknowledge at the end of the day that we are a part of that system.
Oh,
Yep.
No, I'm fully addicted, and it's just one of those things. I've accepted it, and I also haven't taken any active steps to get out of it because I don't want to get away
you
from
actually
it.
like it.
Yeah, I like the way it feels. I like that I'm addicted to something that actually brings me happiness versus something that feels like it's harmful to me. Yeah, maybe I've lost some brain cells watching too much TV, and maybe some of the roller coasters at Disney have banged my head around too much, and I'm not going to do well in the long run with it. But ultimately, I feel like it's it's better than some things you could be addicted to.
Yeah, there are
So,
worse things.
like
Most
sports gambling.
That Disney also would like for you to participate in cahoots with the NFL, but hey,
Yeah.
Weird.
They have
We
options.
are a wholesome family company gambling.
DraftKings.
I mean, they give people options, right? What floats one person's boat may not float someone else's boat, so they've got options.
All right, we'll bring back the nightclubs that I used to love.
We're talking about
Don't
Pleasure
shame
Island.
me for
Mhm,
Don't
Pleasure
shame my
Island.
lifestyle and be over here sports gambling with your
R.I.P.
cigars and your.
You are like on a tirade against the cigar, the Sosa family cigars.
I am
Oh.
tired. When they open Salt and Straw, they better close that cigar place. I want this a full. I don't want it to be like, this cone smells like this
Cigar.
and tobacco.
Yeah, yeah. Have a ice cream and a cigar.
Yeah, but what if one
A
of their
smoke and a
flavors?
pancake.
What if one of their flavors is Sosa cigar swirl?
Virginia
So-
tobacco.
Yeah, Sosa cigar cinnamon swirl tobacco.
I mean, I don't know.
Creamery.
Bourbon has notes of tobacco in it sometimes, but a tobacco plant smells different than a cigarette. Anyway, I don't care.
Okay.
Ignore me. People are mad. The cigar people are coming for me now.
They'll be fine.
Cigar lobby.
What does he mean, cigars?
What were we yelling at people before? Shut up!
Shut up. Just shut up.
Just shut up!
Shut up. I'm going to tell this kid to shut up.
Denny, why don't we skip Bob Chapek's
You don't want his
statement?
inspiring words?
I don't know if
Tell him
I
to
think
shut
it's.
up.
I think it's mostly everything we've already talked
Yes.
about. So
Yes.
why don't we just jump to Paul's takeaways?
All right.
We should. I don't know if we mentioned it, but Paul did write the article
Yes,
for
we did.
our
We
site.
did.
We
We
did.
mentioned
We did.
it.
Okay.
We did, yeah.
I was not paying attention.
But it's worth another mention. Paul Krieger.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Paul. All right, so here are his noteworthy takeaways from the call. Number one, the Encanto soundtrack, which I loved, it's so funny, was playing before the call. So if you never listen to one of these investor calls, there's always, while they get all their ducks in a row, there's always a soundtrack that's playing, music in the background that you have to you just sit there and it's playing. But how funny is that, Paul says that it was the Encanto soundtrack, that they are just trying to capitalize on that,
Yeah.
And it was
time.
nobody talks about Chapek.
No, exactly.
We
Exactly.
don't talk about.
Yep. Second, what?
I will
But-
say with that, Paul wrote in it like Disney appears to be doubling down on success of this film, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the parks news that involves the franchise before too long.
Yeah.
I've been grappling with this, not gripping on it, but grappling with this. Where can you currently put Encanto besides placing it inside like the Magic Kingdom? I don't know where else it fits right now. I'm trying to think about it, and it's just not coming to me.
I don't know, Epcot, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I feel
Because
like it could be in Hollywood Studios.
It's not
but
a specific. It's like
I don't know where.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's
so
Colombian
correct me if I'm wrong.
culture.
Is it like how Moana is It's not like Hawaiian. It's like
It's Colombian.
Yeah.
It's a Colombian.
It is Colombian.
family.
Okay, I
Mhm.
wasn't sure. I haven't
Yep.
seen it.
And so, the specific spot, I'm sitting here trying to think, could you shoehorn it anywhere into Animal Kingdom? But no, I mean, the little guy and his animals and how you could have
Yeah.
a little kind of interactive something there on maybe a stage, the Discovery Island stage, maybe, where they've had the harpists in
Yeah.
the past. But yeah, there really isn't a spot in Epcot. It would be Magic Kingdom, I guess.
Yeah.
Or Studios. I like
feel
that
like
idea.
they should have something in the studios where they rotate out.
You know what? Rip out the animation stuff or the two things that are over there on the side. What am I talking about? The
Launch
puppet
Bay?
show? No. Well, yeah. I mean, the whole thing, I guess, at this
What,
point,
Disney
and build
Junior?
something over there. Yeah.
That is insanely. I was
Disney Junior.
sitting over there in Animation Courtyard yesterday getting work done, and I told Jackie you would not believe the massive amount of Disney Junior families in this
Really?
area right now.
Well, there's not
it
a lot of
was
little kids stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Slammed.
I mean,
So-
that's when we used to go to Disneyland when our kids were little. We were at the Disney Junior in California Adventure. I mean, that's where we spent a lot of the time at California Adventure was there because the kids live for it. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
those characters are their entire world, and they can't believe that they're looking at them. So they want to dance with them. That's popular.
Do you
But
think? Sorry, go ahead, Jack. I didn't mean to.
Oh, it's okay.
Cut you
I feel like there should be, like, Hollywood Studios is all about films. Like, I feel like there should be a little area where they
A showcasing.
Well, yeah, but all
like-
it's going to be is a meet and greet, and
What if-
that's
yeah.
it.
What
in
if
a
it was a
background
sing
and-
along? What if they got rid of Frozen at the Hyperion and
Yeah.
they moved Encanto in? How
There's
much
enough
fun
Frozen,
would that
enough
be?
Frozen.
Listen, I think that would be one way to do it justice. However, that would also be a very difficult sing along for a lot of people.
Well,
Wow,
yeah.
You know?
Well, that is the point I was just about to make, is that what does it say that we don't have anywhere that it can slip into in terms of it, like having stuff where, a lot of this other stuff can pop in easily because it feels like some of that stuff, like we have that representation here. And I'm like, we don't have anything that's representing this particular like cultural that can pop in easily anywhere. And I'm like, I think that needs to be addressed.
But like, I would have loved to see Luca. I would have loved to see the characters there. I would have loved, like, we know that Disney costuming can whip up a costume,
Yeah.
right? Remember when New Fantasyland opened and they had Dumbo? I mean, come on now. They could make up they could make half a dozen costumes, and they could bring that character in for 12 weeks after a new movie releases. It would be so adorable.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it, but I also feel like too sometimes these movies need more than just a character. With Encanto, I feel like unfortunately they are going to have to build something from the ground up to be able to make it to
Build the
work.
house.
I don't know if making a sing along out of it works. While the music is heavily popular, I am in the camp of I think people enjoy listening to it, but I don't think that a lot of people, at least. I come from a very sheltered world that I only see what I see. So maybe everyone out there has already memorized the words. I've listened to the soundtrack. I am still trying to get into it. I cannot keep up with any of it.
You got to be a 9-year-old because I think some of that bump that we saw from Disney Plus is a whole bunch of 9-year-olds going, have you seen this movie? And do you know this song? And they're singing the song and they go home and say, Mom, I need Disney Plus. I need to see that movie. I need to learn the song. I
will say, like, something like Surface Pressure. That's easy. That's easy to sing along with. But so, like, I know at the one point I said, I think on a show, like, it would have been great before Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair or whatever it's called now, Magical Friendship Fair came back. It would have been cool for them to put something from Encanto in there. Yeah. Except then you start to think like, well, what song would they have featured in that moment? I don't
Meet the Madrigals. But,
but then
you need
they're
the whole
not.
family.
They need them all there. Thank you. It's not going to be. We don't talk about Bruno because that also features so many of them. It's so, and it's not going to be waiting on a miracle. That would just bring that entire show down. So it's. I don't know. I feel like it's a property that people love, and I'm happy that people love it. But I don't know how to instantly put it in the parks besides just a character and something that is being loved by this many people.
And a backdrop,
probably needs more than just a character. But you know what? Zootopia made over $1 billion, and all they got were 2 characters and now a land in Shanghai. So,
well,
I'm still bitter about it.
And I still don't like that movie, but I understand it a little bit more.
Oh my God,
Reg.
So good.
No, I was listening to a podcast about it, and I've made my statement very clear on it. I don't like how heavy-handed the message is. I feel like, but I was listening to a podcast, and they pointed out like, yeah, a lot of people who like to read into messages and themes don't enjoy that when it's heavy-handed, but a lot of people do need that, and so it's one of those things where the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And so like once I heard that, I'm like, yeah, that's I think how I do feel about Zootopia. I think where I thought it was like trying to slap me every 2 seconds with the message of the movie, most people were just like, wow, that is refreshing. I didn't think about that before. This is good. And so I'm happier about it, but I still don't like it. I don't watch it.
Okay. It's all right.
Okay. Next paragraph.
Number 2, parks and resorts achieved all-time operating income records despite the lingering pandemic concerns and the emergence of the Omicron variant. So, yep.
Not a surprise.
I know. All time. And we feel it. We feel it in the parks. If you're in the parks. At least I do. It is hopping. You have a lot of friends with you in those parks, and if you want to be there all day, please get there early and make a go of it.
This wasn't a surprise because Universal also saw the exact same thing happen, so they kind of led the benchmark with it. And I am going to jump a little bit further down in talking about it too, because also going along with the parks. Q1 2022, approximately 1/3 of all park guests purchased Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, or both. And that rose to more than 50% of guests throughout the holiday season. And that overall Disney parks are performing better than 2019 with lower attendance number, while attendance continues to strengthen at the domestic parks. And, they said that it's not all the way back to to what they would like with capacity yet. So it can only go up and get crazier. And during this period, things were pretty hectic, but I'd argue right now it's even worse than it was during this quarter. It's terrible in the parks right now.
They are doing better with lower attendance because they are monetizing. They're monetizing every single little thing they absolutely can. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Things that were free are no longer free, and so of course it's it's the profit per guest is going to go up because they talk about the holiday
choice.
Exactly. The people interfacing with Genie Plus and Lightning Lane or both rose to 50%, more than 50% during the holiday season. My sister and her family were 4 of those people who absolutely love the Disney parks and know them like the backs of their hands. But they also knew they were coming down during a busier time of year. And when you're, spending thousands of dollars or whatever, they're also DVC owners. So it's a little bit, we got to weigh that out. But when you're spending that much on a vacation, you want to be able to ride the rides that you want to ride.
Yeah.
And so you do what you have to do. So Disney kind of has you over a barrel. That being said, I spoke to a really sweet couple and their son from Buffalo just last week, and they came down and said, daggone it, we are not doing that Genie Plus. We are just not doing it. And they had a great time. So you have to manage your expectations for sure. But yes, families are rolling in and going, $15 per person per day, but we'll get to ride all the attractions our kids want to. Okay. But there's a lot of happening. And before we know it, something that was so expensive to begin with has become exponentially so.
Mm-hmm. Well, time is money. I mean, I know that when we used to fly in, it was, how can we do this faster? How can we spend less time doing this, but still do what we want to do? So, I can't say that we would have been tempted to purchase it. We were 9 people at the time, so that would have been really a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah, it would have been.
I mean, what is it? Is it $15 a person?
A person per day.
Yeah, jeez Louise.
I mean,
and the bummer of it for me, and I know this is very niche, but she used to get her fast passes and then text me and say, see if you can get matching fast passes.
Yeah.
But now with Genie Plus, I can't do that because they're staying on property, so they get to book it.
That is a good point. I never really thought about that.
So she texted me, and she didn't realize this, and she texted me and said, see if you can get blah, blah, blah for this time. And I said, I can't. I got on.
It doesn't work like that anymore. Sorry, girl.
It doesn't. So, I mean,
that's sad
just
because
disappointing.
Oh, it is. It's kind of crushing. Shoot. Yeah. That's tough.
But I mean, ultimately, it's more about the time you get to spend with them versus experiencing rides. So, I mean, I'm not saying it in that way. It's just, it's like when one of my best friends comes into town every single time, it's a lot of times they would have their fast passes set and I would never be able to match it or anything just because he was a book right at 60-day mark. And it's not possible, but it's just like, you know what? I'm just happy to...
Oh, yes.
Happy to see you. But
and I was also bummed to not. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No.
I was also bummed not to be able to ride things with my niece and my nephew. Come on. My little sister, I love going on some of the attractions that we went on as kids, and it's a bummer not to get to do that as easily.
Yeah, you just I mean, you got to wait. You got to tell them hey,
right.
Sorry, you paid for this, but we're going to wait.
Stand here in this standby queue forever.
Well, and also, I mean, the thing too that we kind of talked about in regard with Rhino and Disneyland before too, and the same thing goes here. We do go over and over with the $15 per person per day, but that doesn't mean you should use it every single day per person. I mean, you should not be using it at Epcot.
No.
You should probably, unless you want to give yourself a complete headache, you should not use it at Hollywood Studios. It will be helpful if you are actively good at playing the system, or it could make you just want to pull your hair out. And it's just it sucks that it's so circumstantial, but it's it's the place we live in. It's the same way that we look at merchandise that Disney's releasing so much good merchandise too that I know ultimately is why this segment is rising and parks are seeing such an increase in the money they're making. It's because the prices of the merchandise are going up too, but that's also because supply issues and it's stuff costs. Everything has to get more expensive with the current world that we're working in. But then you get there and you see that one thing and it's like, I have to have this right now because if I don't get it right now, it's going to go away. And that's how you almost end up spending $80 on the ugliest 50th anniversary Spirit jersey that looks like an old park map.
It's $84.99, Craig. That is exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Not even soft.
It's that yellow, bright yellow Spirit jersey.
It's hideous, but I looked at it 10 times and I'm like, I think I have to get it.
Brian thought the same thing. I must have that.
Yeah, I know.
And luckily, Kylie was there saying, you will never wear this. It is not your style. Do not waste money on that. And I said, yep, you're not wrong.
You are the voice of wisdom, Kylie.
And I
Thank
waited
you.
till she left and bought it.
No, but even then, I told her, I want the board game. I want the retro board game. And it's like $40 for a game I maybe will play once and never touch again. Absolutely not. It's just...
You know what would be really cool to do with that board game? Have you guys seen those coffee tables that have the glass on the top and people place things in there and they pour resin in?
Pizza bar, the coffee bar in the other room is like that.
Is
it's
it like
coins
that?
under it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I always thought it would be kind of a fun thing to take one of those really cool games and to do that with it because,
Craig, also, we didn't actually talk on the show about that Disney Genie experience. That was before we were recording.
I know. I thought I said that we would talk before. Did I not put in the word before?
I just didn't know if you had wanted me to say something about it.
I don't know. I don't know if I care anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I care about your experience.
Done caring.
Don't let him believe.
Rhino. Hey, what'd you think about Genie Plus at Disneyland?
I didn't like it.
It was fine.
It wasn't fine. It wasn't
fine.
good.
It was fine. Here's the thing. It's what they always do. It's the same thing when they complicated making park passes after they made a park pass system. Like the app goes out to a website that you log in and then get an email every time you use the app. We've sent a new login. Oh my God. I wish I didn't have it. Anyway, ridiculous. So this is my first experience using it, and it was one of those things where I'm like, I only cared about the attractions, but you have to go through, you have to answer all these questions about it, and to get to the thing to be able to just start selecting attractions. I'm like, that's all I want to do. I just want to select attractions. I don't care about anything else because the rest of this doesn't necessarily matter to me. And I know that's not true to everybody, but I wish there was a way that you could just circumvent that and say I know there is a skip button in some options, but some stuff you have to answer just to get through it. Also, going from park to park, it didn't work flawlessly. I had to go in, search for the attraction in the app, and then manually accept. When I was looking in Genie Plus, it wouldn't say any attractions. If I had gone from Disneyland to Disney California Adventure, it wouldn't show up any options for me to book any passes in the app. I had to then go search, so I had to be like Guardians of the Galaxy and search, and then it would come up with the information about Guardians of the Galaxy and say that it was a Lightning Lane attraction, which then if I clicked that, it would then let me do it.
That's weird.
So it wouldn't show it. It wouldn't register that I'm in another park, but it knew I was in another park because it said I had hopped, park hopped, but it wouldn't. So I was like, well, that is incredibly frustrating because then I'm somebody who knows every attraction here, but what if I'm somebody who doesn't? Then you're just thinking I bought this and I can't use it, but you could have been able to use it for everything. Yeah. I also didn't know off the top of my head what attractions it was good for. So it not being able to just access that list is annoying. Also, I feel like it makes it incredibly difficult to be able to just find the wait times of things because I was trying to weigh the option of being like, should I make this Lightning Lane selection right now for Buzz Lightyear, or should I make the Indiana Jones ones and then wait or something, and so it was it was difficult in terms of before you'd be able to be like, well, no, I'll just make it for this attraction and go wait in line for this one. And now it's kind of you have to keep backing out. And every time you go in, you have to go through a process to get into it. It's not just here we go. Let me hit the plus button, make the next selection. You have to click the Genie, you have to go into the thing. And I'm just why did you make this so convoluted and difficult? But I was saying with Craig, and I mean, the way I'm talking about it, it was included in a ticket that they gave to me. So I know we're not supposed to technically review it, but it's all the same to me because technically this company pays for anything I do, so it's the same idea for me. Like it still holds that same value. Anybody gives me anything, it's got value to it. Like, so I was saying to Craig that I was like, it didn't work because I'm there working. It didn't necessarily work for any attractions I wanted to work, which is a lot of the Fantasyland stuff. And that's why I feel like families who are probably doing this are probably a little more like want that sort of stuff with it. So it's everything that was included with Max Pass before for more money, except now you have to pay for one or two of the attractions. So like Rise of the Resistance would have been included in Max Pass before, but now it's a $20 a day pay for that ticket. The same with California Adventure, where like everything used to be included. Like I used to be able to just make the Cars Land Fast Pass in my phone and Max Pass. Now you have to pay the $20 to do that, and then still be able to use this. So I was like, I don't know if it's worth it for a day in California Adventure. So if you're going to hop, I was like, and you're only there for a short amount of time, I think maybe it's worth it for a day if you have must do attractions that fall within this list. If they do not fall within this list, I don't think it's worth getting. I think it would be one of those things where maybe you haven't been in a while. There's only one or two of you. You're there for like 2 or 3 days. I don't even know that I would recommend doing it for that, because I think that you'll be able to do everything you want to do. But if you're like, I need to know that I'm going to go on Indiana Jones, or I'm going to go on Space Mountain or Guardians of the Galaxy, like, then just get it for like a day, maybe use it in both parks and then just neander the rest of the time. Like, there's this perception where I feel like they're trying to make it out to be like you need it every day. Yeah, you have to. And I know it's very different there, because in my brain I know it's 2 parks, but in my brain it's like, okay, I'm in one park, one big park, and I can either go to the other half or I can't go to the other half because it's the walking distance. Yeah. So it's like I'm not wasting time in the commute or any of that stuff. So like that's one of those places where I'm like, I think it's always worth it to get a hopper pass over there. Here, wouldn't waste the money on that, and I don't think I'd waste the money on.
It also goes back to the addiction thing again. That for years we've been conditioned to know what it was like and know how good it could be, and if I'm on my vacation, I should be able to go through a fast pass line once every day or multiple times every day through Space Mountain, and so then to have to come to the realization I'm out here for 3 days. If I want to do Space Mountain I don't know where I was going with that one. If I want to do Space Mountain every single day without waiting in a standby line, I have to buy this, but I have to do this because that's how I do Disneyland, or that's how I do Walt Disney World. It makes it very difficult. And
it's taking advantage of that.
All of this makes me anxious. Like, I feel like just the simple thought of you fussing with that, standing there and fussing with all of that on your phone.
The best part, like, Jackie, the best part is it's like, you know, the parks close at 8 while I was there, so it was earlier than normal.
Early,
but it's about 6 o'clock, you know, maybe 5:30, and I'm looking at my phone battery, and I'm like, oh my god, the battery on my phone, it's like got like, you know, 15% or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't have a brand new phone. I have a phone that's like 2.5 years old, so the battery is I know this will be dead in a second. I can't do anything if I don't have the phone. Also, thank goodness I was at a Disneyland hotel, but even being at the Grand Californian, so I'm all the way in the back. This happened while I was in New Orleans Square, and I was like, oh, I'll mobile order the mint julep because the line is humongous, and I was like, I can't do it. My battery won't work. Like because the battery will die. And I was like, and I don't have enough time to go back to the hotel and then because the one thing I forgot was the stupid
your battery
I left
rod.
the fuel rod that I have 3 of. I left them by accident. It was the one thing I didn't put in my backpack, and you know that is on me. But also, I was like, I remember standing there at that moment and just being so incredibly frustrated because not only that, but I also had checked into the hotel on my phone. So I was like, well, now I know I have to go to the front desk and get that ticket that I should have just gotten in the beginning, because I won't be able to get into my hotel room when I get back to get the fuel rod to turn this stupid phone on that I wish I didn't have to use during my vacation nonstop. I mean, I know we use it for photos and everything like that, but now it was the first time that it happened to me where it really got into a corner thing where I was thinking, what if I was at Disney World and this happened? You'd just waste hours out of your day, you know? Like, and I know they're like, oh, well, you could go plug in somewhere, but I'm like, the cable, even if you have the fuel rod, chances are you probably only have the cord and not the square. So like, there's not everywhere that you can just plug in. Also, there aren't just outlets everywhere either, you know? But I'm sorry. It was just one of those moments where I was like, I hate technology. In that
I mean,
moment.
clearly what you should have done is you should have placed the mobile order, then used your camera to take a photo of the little, like, where it tells you your number for your mobile order. So that way, once your mobile order was ready, then you could have just shown them your camera.
My camera that doesn't work?
It works well enough.
And
You could have gotten
But
a
no,
blurry photo.
I got in the line anyway. I just got in the line and did it because I was just like, whatever. It moved fast enough.
Yeah.
But that was the moment where I was just like, I can't do a video of this. Guess I'm going to learn how to write and have to write an article out of this one. Because I was already like, So, Denny, if you could have time and you can help me with that.
We
So-
would love to help you with that.
Yeah.
We would love to, right?
yeah.
We would love to.
But anyway, I'm. What if you were there with your kids? Like, what if you guys?
Like, that's the thing. And what if you're not an experienced Disney goer? And what if you haven't been a million times? What if you're a brand new mama and you and your husband are there with your little kiddos, and you're wasting time fussing with your phone and you don't know what to do? And I don't know about you,
you've paid this
but
extra money for that service, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
you know?
if you're that
It's
out of the
extra.
loop, I doubt it's a service you're going to be using and then burning through your phone with it. So,
well, you never know. If
I
you're
don't know. I
fussing
mean,
with it.
well, that's the thing is that I don't feel like that day I had used my phone to like excess. So it wasn't one of those where I was like, oh, I did this to myself. It was one of those where I was like, oh, that happened really quick. Like, and I was just stuck there where I was just like, oh man, like not only is it like I'm wasting the ticket, but now I'm wasting this other service that I can't use without it. And I guess the moral of the story is just make sure you have that, or you're spending another $30 on a fuel rod.
Right.
And that's where I was like, no, I can't. I have 4 of them at this point. I cannot buy another one.
And like what Craig said, he offered that suggestion of taking the picture with your camera. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I am really kind of stressing about time in particular, I don't think of solutions so easily. Like, it's harder for me to think about what am I going to do to fix this right now when I'm in a whirl.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
that's why there's
know?
leaders and followers.
Yep, for sure.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I feel like this derailed us from the earnings call, but I feel like we were in a territory where we're talking about, you made a good point. They're taking advantage of people who are conditioned to do the vacations, and I just feel like it's $1 every way you turn. There's more money you have to spend now to have this experience. That I was like, I thought this whole thing, removing e-tickets, removing all this stuff, was that you paid this price and you went in, and yes, food is extra. Yes, all this stuff. I understand that, but it's like it's a lot so quickly that happened that it's just like in the last year. That's the crazy part. It's exponentially more expensive. Like, and they're like, profits better than ever. And I'm like,
yeah, they are.
I hate your smug face. Will you tell that? Will you say
I know.
it?
Yep.
This is, yep, everything's got a price tag attached to it right now.
Yeah.
It's why there's leaders and followers.
But I'm addicted, and you're right. And there is no walking away from it. Although Disney World, I think I would be okay with. I
Please
think
deposit
I'll never
your
be able to
wallet
get
here.
Disneyland out of my system, though. It's there forever.
You didn't have Disneyland in your system 5 years ago.
I know, baby, but I got it bad now.
But it's there now.
Yeah, and then as soon as a new lightsaber would come out and you can't have the access of traveling to Disneyland, Walt Disney World is right down the street.
I meant if I don't live in Florida anymore. I would never choose Disney World over Disneyland, I don't think. Unless, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't want to say never say never.
Yeah, I think you're setting yourself up to be told off by one random person on the internet one day, years
I'm
and
sure
years
I-
from now.
All day, every day.
I've been
Story of
waiting
our
for
lives.
this day for 50 years.
Yep.
You said you wouldn't travel here
He's
again,
taking that
and you
hover
did.
car down to Florida like he said he never would.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
I mean, fantastic. Denny,
Yes.
I feel like besides that 90% of hotels are currently open, I feel like we kind of hit everything,
Yep.
unless you
Obi-Wan.
disagree.
It's coming out.
Very
May
excited for
25th.
that.
Yeah, I mean, Rhino won't watch it
I
immediately,
will.
so
That
what's
one
the
I will
point?
be waiting up till 3 a.m.
Will
to watch.
you?
If somebody spoils that for me, I'm coming for you. Because like Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan, that is my favorite character. I am not having anyone ruin this one.
I just can't wait till they end up trolling us. Like, what happened between Obi-Wan going to Tatooine and when he meets up with Luke? It's like we find out he's just baking bread every
He's
single
just
day.
hanging out in the
and-
desert.
It's
That's all.
literally just different
Chilling.
episodes of him being like, "Welcome to my hut today."
Yeah.
Today we're going to be
Like
doing...
barefoot Contessa.
Yeah.
Like
He'll
in
be
a
making
garden.
that thing that Ray makes, that bread, the
Yeah,
lump of
it's
bread.
just
like,
it's going to be
Mortal
that he's going to be there, and that's all he's doing. And then every now and then, like we know Hayden's in it, so it'll cut back to like Darth Vader running
Yes.
around. Have we found Ben Kenobi yet?
I was going to say he guest stars whenever he burns the bread. And he's like, and it cuts to him, and he's just going, "I hate you."
No, zero interaction. It's literally been just like sitting. Like, what do I do with civilian life now? Like,
Yes.
Him
do
just
I
waiting for a kitchen
do I
timer to go
read?
off.
Do I read? What do I do? Like, I don't.
He puts
do I-
another log on the fire.
Yeah, it's like,
He talks to the bluebirds.
Do I
or
take
the
up
birds.
knitting? Do I try to get into building and crafting? What do I do? And then it'll always cut back to Darth Vader on the ship. Have we found everyone yet? We are tracking down. Have we found the little green man? Have we? And it's like, wow, we waited 10 years for Ewan McGregor to be back in the longer than 10 years to be back in this role for this. 10 years.
As long
15
as he
years.
says hello there.
15, 22? 20.
No, it was 2005.
2005.
It was 5 because 2002, 2005. Yeah, that's 20 minus 2.
15.
20 minus 3. Can't do math.
15 plus 2. 15 plus 2. 17.
17. I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for Ewan McGregor to be in a good Star Wars movie, and here we are.
Yep.
Here it is.
Here it is.
the
Bacon
moment.
bread.
I mean, I'm one of those people, though. I actually do like episode 3. I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
It's the
mind
only
it.
one worth watching of those 3.
Okay. We're back on the rails.
Oh, I'd agree.
We're back on the rails.
Woohoo.
We're back on the rails. Back on the rails.
Are we?
Yes.
More
Back
like
on the rails.
Back on the. I can't remember the name of the sand thing. The tauntaun, but with sand.
Bantha.
More like back on the bantha. Nailed it.
Good job.
Because in Star Wars, they're not rails. They're.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. Well, actually, no, there are.
We're back
If
on the
you-
speeder. Boom, nailed it again.
Rhino, there are rails. You know that from Solo, a Star Wars story.
right.
You would
That's
know
exactly
it
right.
from Book of Boba
The
Fett.
train.
I don't remember what they're called. Clearly, anything. Space train. We're back on the space,
Space train.
rails.
Space
We're back on the
train.
space rails.
There you go.
Fantastic. You have a lot to watch in Book of Boba Fett, now streaming on Disney Plus. I think you'll really like it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, we're back on the rails. Thank you so much for everyone for watching and listening. I truly hope you enjoyed this. If you did, take a moment if you're watching this on YouTube to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comment section below. And if you're listening to this, please make sure you subscribe to Off the Rails wherever you listen to podcasts. And if it's through Apple Podcasts, hey, did I already say leave us a 5-star rating and review too?
I think you did.
You should.
I'm not
You
sure.
should. Yeah.
What is this? Jenny starting a Tuesday show?
Yeah, it's kind of. No, I told them to subscribe. This is the Diz
My
Unplugged.
favorite moment that's ever happened.
I said to subscribe where you listen to podcasts, but then leave a 5-star rating and review if it's through Apple Podcasts. And if you want to support us even more, book a trip through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. That's it for us on this week's episode of Off the Rails. I hope you all had a lot of fun. Take care. Bye-bye.